Hey, what's up, everyone? It's me, Matt from Diazable, and I'm coming at you with another album review. And today we are going over the new album from Code Orange called The Above. A little background on these guys are they come from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. They play a style of aggressive hardcore infused with industrial elements and recently like 90s alternative grunge style to it. They've been putting in work since about 2014, 2012, around there. They've been in the game for a while now. They've changed genres a lot, and they had a really huge successful release with the album Forever. As a lot of people would say, it was a game changer in terms of sound and aggression and everything. And then they really doubled down on the whole genre defining hard style of their next release, Underneath, back in 2020, that a lot of people seem to really like, including myself. I was a pretty big fan of it. That was the first Code Orange album that I really got into. So yeah, I'm excited to check out this album from Code Orange. Let's get on through. Never Far Apart is the opening track here. It starts off with some like low, creepy spoken words from Jamie and everything, and then it like turns into some high speaking vocals from Reba, the guitarist. And then the overall sound of the song is like industrial with like whimsical beats. The production is pretty impressive here, I would say. But as the song progresses, it turns into like a heavy sludge, glitchy sound to it. It really builds upon itself. And then finally, towards the end, it turns into like a heavy rock and like heavy tuned down mess of a song a bit. It's a little bit all over the place. It's an interesting opening for sure, with some dark lyrics and a like upbeat vibe and everything. But yeah, it's kind of like okay.
Even when you're gone, I'll tell them my religion's you. When punctures
of cruelty. Heavy barrage from the guitars and drums start the song off, and then it switches off into more like a calm, soft rock sound, and then it switches back into that like heavy metalcore sporadicness. It reminded me a lot of Jesus Piece when I was listening to it. Then it weaves back into like more of that soft glam rock, and it reminds me of one of my favorite bands, Placebo. Towards the end of the song, the drums really go off. They really like set off, and then the guitars sound very, very Code Orange in the terms of like nastiness and heaviness. Still a very disjointed song overall. And then the breakdown towards the end is not the best breakdown, I think, but it has a lot of craziness to it that makes it kind of interesting. Take Shape. Jamie's vocals sound really healthy and clean here, while Reba's vocals sound really cool with like the reverb they added to her voice. Very distorted, very cool. Slow and precise drums and bass really on time here. Very like, like it's just like it has a pace to it that's pretty good and everything. Soft rock for most of this song, not as heavy as they usually are, but just it's heavy rock. Then as the song like gets to the midway point, Billy Corgan from Smashing Pumpkins comes in and everything, and really kind of sets the song off pretty well. It helps transfer like the flow of the song to the big like ending they were looking for this song, which I think they were able to build up and like pull off pretty well. The Mask of Sanity slips. Very, very, very reminiscent of the 90s in terms of like alternative style and vibes with the hollowed out guitars, I feel. Jamie's vocals on the chorus though on this song, they don't really sound that great. But the guitars, very crunchy right before the chorus and everything. Sounds really good. But as I listen to the song, especially on the second time of the chorus, his vocals kind of like grow on me a bit. But then as the song transitions more, there's like an awkward like transition, and it kind of feels like a low budget breakdown in this song, if that makes sense to you. Overall, I'm not too sure how I feel about this song. But I will say the ending, they bring it back with some like chilling and haunting riffs, which kind of like make it sound all right. So here's a little clip of The Mask of Sanity Slips. Yeah, Mirror. There's an acoustic track on here. Kind of surprised by that. But it kind of feels a little weird at the beginning, but as the song goes along, it does like get better, I would say. Jamie is using a different vocal style here, and it's pretty good. I like it. And then Reba has a lot of feelings and emotions behind her words. Like, there's some really good tension on this song. The drums are very simple, and they use like a tambourine in the background. It gives a nice texture for the song. And then there's some like hollow guitars in the background. Really helps build an atmosphere for this song. As I was listening to it, I just thought of like florally like feelings. It just feels like a very poppy song in a weird way. Um, and at the time of listening to this, I wrote it. It's a good song, but is it Code Orange? But as I thought about it more now, it is pretty Code Orange in the sense of like doing something different and not what they typically do. So I think overall, it's a pretty good song. A drone opting out of the hive. After the last song, Mirror, they really elevate it and kick it right back to 10 with this like crazy, trippy, heavy track. As the song goes along, there's some weird like spoken word parts here again, but they sound more like interesting and intense on this song than previous like spoken word parts. People were complaining about this before I heard about this song. There's like some tick tock tick boom that people said like sounded weird and goofy. I didn't think it sounded that bad. It's a still heavy track, still very disjointed Code Orange. I think it's a pretty solid track. I Fly. This song is straight up a butt rock song. I think they were trying to like walk that line between grunge and post grunge, and this song comes out more post grunge than anything, especially in terms of his vocals. It's not bad, it's not good, it's just more butt rock than anything. The guitars sound really deep and hard, and the drums and the use of the cymbals are pretty creative. And as I listened to the song more and more, I was like, actually, those drum patterns and cymbal use and everything are pretty darn good. Splinter the Soul. Here you get some more heavy industrial style playing towards the beginning of the song with some low sounding guitars and drums. Then they blast into some like 90s style like alternative music. To me, it kind of sounded like when they transitioned to that more like alternative sounds, kind of mediocre. But then you get some solid riffs and chugs from the guitars. Overall, you get a lot. I feel you get a big, heavy Smashing Pumpkins vibes and influence here. The drums, though, on the breakdown are pretty weird and awkward. The Game. Very fast, very intense riffing here. This is probably like the most intense song on this album so far, which made me think at the time I was listening is like up until this point, no song has really felt the same. So that's very impressive that we're 9 tracks in and everything has a lot like a distinct flavor and feel to it. The bass tone here is really good. Signature like Code Orange disjointedness with how chaotic it is sounds really good. And then they slow it down before the breakdown, and that breakdown is hella intense. It's like, well, chef's kiss. So this is like the first track on this first song on this album that really like resonated with me. So I want to play a little snippet for you. So disjointed. Grooming My Replacement. The song starts off with some dissonant sounding guitar riffs, and as the song progresses, I noticed that the bass line during the part when he's singing Grooming My Replacement sounds really good. Like the bass sounds top notch. Guitars overall sound okay. But then like towards like the later part of the song, they changed the tempo with the drums and guitar. Pretty impressive. Snapshot. More alternative and industrial vibes on this track, especially with the use of the heavy bass and like sounds like clanking of machines. The drums have a bit of a light upbeat feel to them, so it sounds pretty cool. The bass, very prevalent here, very present, very nice. But I will say at the end of the song, like the instruments have like a weird sound to them, and it makes it feel like the instruments are emoting, like the instruments are giving off feelings. That's how I was like hearing it, and that's how I described it. I know it sounds really weird, but that's just how I felt. And so I want to play a little snippet of Snapshot because it's a pretty interesting song.
Take a snapshot and remember this moment. We all make shitty choices, but now you gotta own it. Hid out in the bushes.
Yeah, you hear that industrial clanking and like machines and stuff. Circle Through, more rock than metal. The vocals here, they're a little odd. There's a nice guitar solo that I wasn't expecting. Very nice. This song feels like it's ripped out of the 90s. Like everything about it just screams 90s, especially the use of like the synthesizers in the back. And I will say, Reba's highs on this song, pretty damn good. What a dream. More 90s influence again. This album is just filled with so much 90s influence, especially the use of the whammy bar, I think, when they playing the guitar here. Soft rock more than anything on this album. Like it's not a heavy album compared to their older albums. And I think maybe that might be not a selling point for some people. People like the heavy Code Orange. They're moving into a different direction. Um, and but also it's not as soft as like their other side project Adventures. It's a weird middle ground between Code Orange and Adventures, especially with a track like But a Dream. The lyrics are pretty dope here, and then towards the end of the song, they bring in some like real heavy, crunchy guitars. Finally, we have The Above. It starts off with some like lo-fi house vibes with some like soft, haunting vocals. I was really impressed by that. And then the drums sound really beastly here, big, loud, impressive. And then as the song progresses, there's like some haunting, like ghostly, like choir in the background in terms of like backing vocals that add some texture to the song. The flow is overall like a good solid jam for this band. Like they're just flowing pretty well, and then the song just kind of ends. So I was left feeling kind of like mixed about this song. So yeah, that was my review of this beast of an album from Code Orange and everything. I want to say there's a lot of variety here on this album. There's a lot of alternative 90s grunge, synthwave, house, industrial, hardcore metal. There's everything on this song. There's even acoustic stuff. So they're really expanding their library in terms of like what they want to do. They're really experimenting and heavy here, which is always good. Maybe they experimented a little bit too much at times because I want to say like overall there wasn't too many songs that really grabbed my attention. Every song was really different. That's great and everything, but nothing was just so like oh my god, I gotta like this track is amazing. It's like it just catches my eye, it catches my ears. Like two songs, The Game, Snapshot were the like biggest highlights for me. A lot of the songs were like okay to like just like I like yeah, there's just nothing pulled me in. Production sounds really good on this album. Like everything's either sounds really clean when it needs to be, or sounds really dirty when it needs to be. So that's nice and everything. Vocals, I would say Reba's vocals were a lot more impressive and diverse than, well, not diverse, but just more consistent. Yeah, Jamie's was more diverse, different vocal patterns and everything. But sometimes he didn't sound that great and everything. I don't know if it was more his like trying to change his style up or the production side. But yeah, guitars are pretty chunky, pretty heavy and crunchy for the most part. And then the bass, it has some like time to like really be like noticeable and stuff, but then sometimes it feels like it's kind of lost in the mix a bit. Drums overall pretty dynamic and pretty impressive and everything. Drumming really good and everything, very nice. I don't think I have anything too negative to say about the drums. So overall, it's a very fun experience from Code Orange. I don't know if it's one of their best material, but it's definitely a fun listen for sure. There's going to be a lot here that people are going to enjoy. So with that being said, I think this new album from Code Orange, The Above, is a nice, solid. I won't say solid. It's an okay to light the 7.5 out of 10. Yeah. So, thanks for coming on by. I just did a review of Code Orange, their new album, The Above. Tell me what you thought. Leave some likes, comments down below. Let's get some conversation going on this. Thanks for coming on by. My name is Matt. I appreciate everyone who watches this and checks me out. And until next time, I will see you later. Bye.